Okay, hello. So I am going to show you what I found on the internet. I found the One Air Airbrush Paints, and this is what I use to do airbrush nails in the salon. Got 3 colors here. They're acrylic airbrush paints. We're gonna do like a little design. I'm gonna tell you what I like about them and what I've noticed and what you need to do if you're gonna start airbrushing in a salon and you want something that's odorless and a water-based product, you know, over and above like using gel polish and acetone, right? Because I do not use gel polish and acetone. Some people do. I don't. I prefer actually to use the acrylic paints because like it's easy. These don't require any dilution or anything. Like pretty much you just use it. And some of these I've had for 4 or 5 years, and I airbrush literally at least 3 times a week in a salon. So if you're a nail tech, a press-on nail maker, whatever, and you want to start airbrushing, but you don't want to do the airbrush, like airbrushing the gel polish and acetone, then enter acrylic airbrush paints, which you can use on nails, skin safe, all of that jazz. No not scents, but like it doesn't have an odor. All right, it's water based, so it's a soap and water cleanup. And even when you clean your airbrush gun, I'm going to show you what I use to clean. When you clean your airbrush gun, you're going to use this Medea airbrush cleaner. I'll make sure I link all the stuff down. I am using, like I said, these 3 colors. They're out of the pastels collection, which has 16 colors in there. There's also an original collection that has 20 colors in there, and they're going to run you, they just sell them in sets. They're gonna run you anywhere from probably like $100 to $140, depending on how big the sets are. They have neons, they have jelly or candy tints, which is just like a tint, you know, like you have the jelly gels. It's like that, but it's acrylic airbrush paint. And I'll put some examples of each one like in the video so you can see. So for the 20 colors, the professional colors, that's gonna be here. For the neons, this is a neon look. For the pastels, we got our pastel look. And then for the jelly tints, we got our jelly tint look. So very versatile, a lot of different collections. The 20-piece collection comes with black and white, so you don't need to add that. The pastels is just with the pastels, and then you can buy black and white separate if you wanted it, because you would use black and white to tint up or down. The airbrush that I'm going to use today is going to be my Iwata. It is the HP SB Plus from Japan with the side feed cup. I use it for all my acrylic airbrush paint applications. I only use it for acrylic paint. I do not switch my hand pieces in between acrylic paint or gel, because they're 2 different chemical makeups, and it will lock up your hand piece and it will be unusable. Don't believe me? Try it. So let's grab a nail, and I'm gonna grab some stencils, and then I'm gonna show you some designs. We're gonna talk a little bit about what I like, what I don't like, if there's anything, and you're gonna put your comments below and I'll answer them. Yeah, and I'll answer them, and it will get you. I'll also put the links to everything that I'm using so you can grab that too if you want. You never know. And like I said, let's get started. Okay, so when I use these, like I said, they do not need any kind of dilution or anything. You can use them straight out of the bottle. You just want to make sure you shake everything up really good. They have mixing balls in them, which helps make sure the pigments are mixed very well. I did check it before the application. When I go in and do airbrush over a nail on clients or anywhere else, I always have the nail matte, right? So just use a Koopa mat or whatever. Nothing, no big deal. We're gonna do a blue and green ombre. You really only need like 2-3 drops. You don't need that much. Like I said, these little bottles actually last a very long time. You're gonna start in very soft. If you notice how close I am to it, I'm about maybe 2 inches from the nail, and it's a soft spray. The reason I use this handpiece over one of the little cheap $25 units is because This one always works. I don't have to worry about clogging or anything. It's a very smooth running machine. I'll I'll link it below, but I have never been frustrated when doing airbrush when using an Iwata. Iwata is my go-to. This is not a sponsored post for them. I mean, I definitely would work with them, but Iwata is like my absolute fave, and I promise you, I have like 50 different airbrushes. So I'm gonna do 2 more drops, but I think out of all my airbrushes I have 4 of them that are Iwatas. And I do get the question a lot, like, how do you change colors? Honestly, after I'm done with this part of the application, like when I was done with the blue, I sprayed a little bit, and then you do a few more sprays, and then your green is ready to go. What I do love is a smooth airbrush transition. Now, when we're looking at this, you're probably like, oh, it's probably, yeah. It's sprayed really good. If it's shiny, then it's still wet. But when you're doing nails in a salon, you're probably doing 3 or 4 nails. So by the time you would have got to like the last nail, this nail will be dry and ready to go for the next part of the application, whether it's stencil or whatever. So we got our ombre on. I'm going to grab a stencil out of the stencil book, and whatever we do, we're going to do it with this pink. I like to use reusable stencils. Why? Because they save money, energy, effort, time, all of that stuff. And because that's the case, I do store them in my stencil saver book. And the stencils that I have are reusable gum letters and flames and, you know, all sorts of cool little things that you can do when it comes to airbrush or whatever. Hello Kitty, you know, all that jazz. But let's find something simple for us to do. When I'm looking at it, I'm touching it. It is, for all intents and purposes, dry. But what are we gonna put on it? I do have some tattoo stencils. Tattoo stencils. These have been used like so much, and they still have their sticky. That's one thing I do like about the stencils and the paints, and like I said, I'll link everything below, is honestly they last a bit. They really do. Get this out the way and go ahead and hit it with the blue. Now I'm gonna add a little cleanser. You don't have to, like, I could just do it with the pink, but I don't want my pink to have a little blue in it, so a little cleanser will do for me. You know what else? I think I'm gonna add a butterfly. Oh, just the corner one. Well, I'll do it on top. So let's spray our pink. When we go on with our cleanser, we always want to remember that you'll have a little bit of cleanser left in there. So when you spray your color, sometimes it'll be thin. So just spray on your towel, and that way you'll push that cleanser out, and it's ready to go. One thing I always do is I'll grab my stencils with a tweezer and not with my fingers or even with my gloved hand. Why? Because there could be paint or whatever on my gloves or oils on my hands, and I don't want that to get on my stencil, so that my stencil still remains sticky and lasts me a long time. You see how many colors is on this stencil? Yeah, it's been used that much because there's that many colors on there. And then this one, I barely even pressed it down. But see how it came out really cool? And then let me go ahead and do a butterfly. Like, look at how this stencil look. It's definitely been used a lot. And I'm just going to hit the edge. real soft. And then peel this off. We got a little butterfly there. And in each case, I'm not like right up on it. I'm like, maybe like 2 inches away. But if you notice, it's not a lot of paint on my napkin besides what I sprayed, because I'm not spraying that much. You're literally just spraying exactly what you need. So that's the final look. We used the One Air acrylic airbrush paints. We used them, like the pastels is from the pastel collection. You know what? Let me show you how to finish out. The way we finish out is very simple. We do want to make sure that we do not have any acrylic airbrush paint on those edges, because when we seal it in with our base gel, we want to keep it from chipping. So I'll wipe the dust off after I file the edges. I'm going to grab a base coat gel. So that could be like anybody's base coat gel. I just happen to have this one for Koopa. I do use it the most. I'm going to glide my base coat gel on my nail. And then I'm going to make sure I cap that free edge just like that. I'm going to pop it in my lamp. Base coat's 10 seconds to cure. And then I'm going to grab a top coat. I do want you to remember, whenever you're, and I'll do some recaps for you, but whenever you're sitting, don't just leave airbrush paint in your airbrush. Clean it out. Then we're going to hit it with our top coat. And I've actually used these paints and done chrome looks before. So you airbrush, you do a chrome design on top as well. If you want to see me airbrush and use chrome, then go ahead and comment below. Please do the chrome or something, and then I will bring you guys another video showing how I incorporate chrome with my airbrush designs. Pop the thing in your lamp, and you're going to cure that for 60 seconds. Okay, so this is our final look. That is very cool. Nice and cured, no chipping problem, nice and thin application. That is why I love airbrush so much. It's really nice. Also, this is my favorite top coat right here. This, it looks liquidy all the time. So let's recap. Okay, so in summation, we're using acrylic airbrush paint to create beautiful nail art. 1, you don't want to leave paint in your airbrush handpiece drying. 2, you want a quality airbrush, right? Like I said, I love me an Iwata. This is not sponsored by Iwata. Iwata, if you want to work together, hit me up. Cool, I'm with it. But I like me an Iwata. It's an easy to use hand police, easy to clean, and I think I already have a cleaning video down the way. But I will put it at the end so you can watch that if you need help cleaning your airbrush. These are the 20-piece sets. Not 20-piece. This is from the 16-piece pastel set. I really love these paints. No smell. They got the mixing balls in there, so you can have good continuity when it comes to painting and making sure that everything is mixed up. It's fast drying. It's easy to do over a gel nail, right? Like a nail that was gel polished. And the long and short of it is, yeah, these are my faves. I love them. They're definitely worth the price. And on average, when I bought my first collection, I feel like it was before the pandemic. So on average, that 20-piece set with all the different colors lasted me about 4 years. So if it's a 20-piece set and it's $140, divide 4 years, let me tell you how much that is. So basically I had them for 4 years before I had to start getting new ones. That is about 1,000+ days, and 1,000 days divided $140 is like 10 cents a day. So on average, like I tell my students, when you're doing nail art now, because of the cost to bring product in and everything else, you're gonna have to double it. But I tell them at least $1 to $2 per minute to do nail art, airbrush, gel nail art, blah, blah, whatever. It doesn't matter. So these paints would have been paid off if you do 60 minutes of nail art with 2 appointments. If it's if you do 60 minutes of nail art, that's $120. So they're $140. So a little bit 2.5 appointments. These airbrush paints will be paid off. So for the $140 investment, I will say that these are great. I really don't have anything against them. If you have any questions, comments, or you want to see me do that chrome look, go ahead and comment below and I will get that done. Thanks.